Boys, whether you're a beginner or an experienced OpenClaw user, everyone is still asking, what is the best model for my OpenClaw agent? And here we have the monthly usage stats of OpenClaw, looking at the top 20 models used by OpenClaw just this month. And in this video, we're going to do something fun. We're going to rank them onto a tier list from S being the best all the way to D, not so good, but maybe they have their merits. Now, the ranking criteria here is based on what the community feels about these models after using them on OpenClaw. We scraped every comment data on Reddit, YouTube, X, Hacker News, and compiled them all into this tier list. So you know what the community thinks best for OpenClaw. Okay, starting off with number 1, Step 3.5 Flash. This one goes into A tier. It's the most used model on the list, and the reason is pretty obvious is because they are free. It's $0 per million input tokens and output tokens. People are saying that this is fast, cheap, and surprisingly capable for agent workflows. It's not quite the smartest model in the room, but a lot of OpenClaw users seem to treat it as a utility model. So they're using it for frequent tasks and high volume automation. But when people push into more complex system prompt heavy workflows, some report that it starts to wobble a bit. So number 1 by usage, yes, but for overall quality, we're putting it in A tier. Number 2, Minimax M2.5. We're putting this in B tier. Now, I personally myself, I would put it in S tier. With the right system prompts, with the right instructions, and with the right context, Minimax M2.5 can do wonders. They'll actually surprise you because the price to performance ratio is strong, and there is a reason why. If you toggle on the most popular filter here in OpenRouter, Minimax M2.5 is rank 1. And it's a bit tricky because they have one of the most affordable plans for users, making it a very attractive option for beginners. However, we noticed that from the perspective of a beginner, Minimax M2.5 is not that good at architecture, but for experienced developers at task execution, Minimax M2.5 is like the king. So for now, just based on community feedback, they're in B tier. Now, moving on to number 3, Kimi K2.5. This one lands in A tier. So the community sentiment around Kimi is pretty favorable, especially among users who want a strong model without paying premium frontier model pricing. People talk about Kimi as one of those models that punches above its cost bracket. It's not usually framed as better than top Claude models, but it gets respect as a capable daily driver option for OpenClaw users who care about value. And plus they have that unique feature of being able to watch images, so that's also pretty cool. So we're putting it in A tier. Now, number 4 is Trinity Large Preview. This is free. I think I'm going to be putting it in, not going to lie, I'm going to put it in D tier, okay? So don't hate me, all right? I know it's free, and some users appreciate it as a fallback or a no-risk option, but the Trinity Large Preview only has 131K context. So there's not really much room to wiggle around in your session. And based on our experience, 200K context window is the benchmark. We pretty much have like a feel for how much tokens that the session uses up before the agent goes into the dumb zone. So for Minimax and even for Claude, Opus and Sonnet, the dumb zone would be at around 40 to 60%, right? But with the cap of 131K, I think the agent can go into a dumb zone pretty fast. So I think a lot of community members feel that way. But hey, if you're using this Trinity Large Preview, let us know how you feel about it. Now, moving on, we have Gemini 3 Flash Preview. This one goes into the S tier. It has strong performance, great speed, the kind of long context multimodal potential that OpenClaw users care about for serious workflow. It has some of that stuff from Kimi K2.5, and the community seems to treat Gemini 3 Flash Preview as one of the few models that can be both broadly useful and legitimately high-end. So it's fast enough to stay practical, but strong enough that people don't feel like they're making a huge trade-off. So this is for all you Google lovers out there. Number 6, we have Claude Sonnet 4.6 S tier, without a doubt. This is the architecture that we're using, all of our orchestrator agent are either using Opus 4.6 or Sonnet 4.6. So I'm going to put both of them right here for sure. I think in terms of practicality, maybe Sonnet 4.6 would outrank Opus 4.6, right? So for Opus 4.6 by far is still the smartest model. It's still the best. But if you're going to be running workflows in the time frame of weeks or months, those costs are really going to ramp up, right? But Sonnet 4.6 can pretty much do 80 to 90% of what Opus can do, but at a fraction of a cost. So looking in the span of weeks to months, being practical here, Sonnet 4.6 is much better. If you really need heavy lifting, if you need a complex architecture setup for your OpenClaw, then of course Opus 4.6 is a great choice. In fact, this might be, right, if you are a beginner, it's actually recommended you go for Opus 4.6, okay? Because they are the best when it comes to problem solving. Okay, now moving on to, so we're done with 6 and 7, but let's go to number 8. So that's Hunter Alpha. This one recently launched. People are thinking this might be DeepSeek, but no one knows. But the amazing thing about Hunter Alpha right here is that it is 1 million context window and it's free. So for this one, I think we're going to be putting it in A tier, okay? It has that classic stealth mode energy, mysterious, exciting, maybe underrated. Community feedback has been especially strong because of reports that Hunter Alpha can actually stay pretty coherent over long sessions, and because it offers huge context at no cost, which is very different from the recent Claude 1 million context window. So we did a video about that, why it is really good feature for Claude, but there are hidden downsides to that, and cost is a big part of that. But for Hunter Alpha, it's free, 1 million context window, but your context management must be on par. You must be familiar with front loading and back loading your critical information in those sessions. So we talked about that in that video as well, so you can check that out for full details. But yeah, that being said, it's still new, not as familiar as Claude or Gemini, so I'm not ready to put it in S tier yet, but A tier feels pretty fair, based on how enthusiastic the early adopters are. Okay, number 9 is DeepSeek V3.2. We're going to be putting this in B tier. DeepSeek has a very strong reputation in the broader model community, and OpenClaw users generally seem to respect it. But in this specific ecosystem, it doesn't dominate the conversation the way Claude or the other high-value models do. So B tier here means solid, credible, worth using, just not a consensus favorite for OpenClaw first workflows. Now moving on to number 10, we got GPT-5 Nano. This is A tier for me because for a lightweight model, this is actually pretty powerful. They can handle fast turnaround tasks pretty reliably. And the community logic around models like this is usually very simple. If it's fast, competent, and predictable, it earns a place in the stack. So Nano feels more like a specialist rather than a flagship, but a very useful specialist nonetheless. Now, for Claude Sonnet 4.5, this one goes into the A tier. Even after newer releases with Opus and Sonnet 4.6, the community still treats Sonnet 4.5 with a lot of respect. It's often described as a very strong balance of quality and cost, and for many users, it remains more than good enough. So basically, not the newest Sonnet, but it still carries the Claude reputation for reliability in agent settings, and that matters a lot in OpenClaw. And personally for myself, when I edit these videos on Descript using Underlord AI, I actually use Sonnet 4.5, not 4.6 because of the cost. It's actually much cheaper, but they can still produce that really good output. So if I were to apply that as well to OpenClaw, it's actually maybe not that bad, right? So that's how the community members feel about Sonnet 4.5. Now, number 12, we got Gemini 2.5 Flash. Putting this in C tier, not because it's bad, but because it feels overtaken, right? Once newer Gemini variants exist, the older Flash models tend to become fine rather than exciting. And the community seems to treat these as workable options, especially if they're already in someone's setup. but not the model they'd rush to recommend first, especially now in March 2026. So that's why I'm still surprised to see that they're on the list. How many tokens have they used up so far? 188 billion tokens just this month from Gemini 2.5 Flash, which is quite refreshing to see, right? There are people out there that are still willing to use older models. Which brings us to the next one, Gemini 2.5 Flash. This one also C tier, right? Lite models usually win on speed and cost, but they're almost always making bigger capability sacrifices. And that trade-off becomes more obvious in agent workflows than in simple chat use. So yes, same, I'd say, with Gemini 2.5 Flash. Now, number 14 is Claude Haiku 4.5. I think we're going to be putting this in C tier. Haiku is fast and cheap, which gives it a role, but the community doesn't really seem to view it as a primary brain for serious OpenClaw use. So think of it as more of a support model, good for lighter tasks, less trusted for complex reasoning chains or long plans. Just don't use it when you need this agent to stay sharp, okay? So that's why I'm putting it in C tier. Now, number 15, Grok 4.1. A lot of you guys in our recent videos have been commenting about Grok, asking us how we feel about Grok, and we're going to be putting it in C tier. Because it's not really heavily discussed in OpenClaw circles compared with Claude, Gemini, or the other standout models, which usually tells you something by itself. And when I think of Grok, I just think of the X chatbot interface. I just use Grok as a chatbot, not as part of my agent workflow. But it doesn't mean it's weak, okay? So I don't want to crap on your setup if you're using Grok 4.1 fast. It just means it hasn't emerged as a community favorite so far. And in this kind of ranking, community confidence matters, right? But hey, if you're using Grok 4.1 and you're amazed by it, genuinely, I want to know. Drop down in the comments how you feel about this. Okay, number 16, GLM-5. We're gonna be putting this in C tier 2. I think it has a serious technical profile and strong ambitions, but you know, the community sentiment around GLM inside agent workflows seem more cautious than enthusiastic. And again, it's ZAI2. This is one of the Chinese models. So it's pretty much a recurring theme already in OpenClaw discussions, is that GLM models can look promising on paper, but the actual experience in autonomous use isn't always as convincing as users hoped. Okay, moving on. Gemini 3.1 Pro Preview. I think this one going into B tier. I think it's more capable than the older Flash tier models, but in OpenClaw, speed really matters. So I'd say, you know, strong, respectable, useful, but maybe not the first model people reach for in a workflow that constantly loops through actions and checks. So that's why we're putting it in B maybe. Okay, number 18, Healer Alpha. This is in pair with Hunter Alpha when they first stealth launched together last week, right? But I think Healer Alpha would go into D tier. Okay, unlike Hunter Alpha, it doesn't seem to have generated the same level of excitement or confidence from the community. Maybe that could change later, but right now, compared with Hunter Alpha, it feels more like an experiment people tested than a model that they actually want to build around. So if you can see, the tokens used by Healer Alpha is just 125 billion this month, but Hunter Alpha is 4 times more than that already. And maybe also it's because of the difference in the context window, because both of them are free, but Hunter Alpha has 1 million contexts and Healer Alpha has 262,000 in context window. When it comes to agentic workflows anyway, you just need reasoning chains and instruction following, so the text dominant. But Healer Alpha, what makes them different from Hunter Alpha is they're an omnimodal model with vision and hearing capabilities, which is pretty cool. But I think maybe the output itself, looking at community feedback, is not as good as Kimi. So that's why we're going to be putting it in D tier. Okay, now the last 2 models we got is GLM 4.5 Air and GLM 5 Turbo. I think we're just going to be putting them in D tier, okay? Because based on community feedback, they're not good. Okay, I mean, if we already put their flagship model in C, we can expect their Air variant and their Turbo variant to be not as good. And even though they're lightweight models, right? When we're talking about OpenClaw, though, they need to be dependable. And they're not even worth experimenting on, because GLM is not free. They're not free, right? Their flagship model is $72 and $2.30. And their turbo one is actually more expensive. So, yeah, okay. I don't see a lot of people talking about GLM either, but if you do, let us know how you feel about this. Maybe, hey, maybe we're wrong. Maybe GLM might be good, and I didn't see that. But you know, we're looking at community feedback here, and yeah, not much mention on GLM, and the comments on GLM are mostly, you know, meh. So yeah. So there we have it. This is our complete tier list for OpenClaw. Here on BoxminingAI, we use a Discord setup for all of our OpenClaw agents. Stark is our orchestrator agent, so he has to be very smart. He uses Opus and Sonnet 4.6 sometimes, switching between both. Banner here is in charge of research as well as YouTube research. So he has API access to our YouTube channel, so he gives us data for everything that is going on in our channels. But for the other agents, we use Minimax because they are they're playing a much more specialized role, deeper into research, deeper into journaling, or even personal use cases. So Michael himself is building a food tracking app with one of these agents. I myself use Loki for my trading research. He helps me expedite my process through back testing and analyzing all of my trade data. So stuff that I would do manually, but it would take forever to finish. And Loki is just there to help me speed up the process. Now, boys, before we go, I just wanted to say, before we did this video, I actually had an idea of creating the tier list based on how you guys feel. But when I asked Banner to check all of our YouTube comments, we only got 8 YouTube comments. Not really enough to make an exciting tier list video. So boys, drop down in the comments below what model you're using or what models you want to use. Tell me how you feel about them. And maybe in the next video, we'll do a tier list dedicated to how you guys rank them, right? So we're not the judge here, you guys are. So boys, remember to smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. My name is Ron, Sean and out.